Hello, this is the Real Recruiter. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Recruiter podcast. We have a lot to talk about today. A lot of things happened. I have a guest today in the studio, Soda Pop, who's Casey's dog. He's here visiting us today. So if you see him just prancing around, just let him live his life. So today we have a lot to talk about. I'm caught up on Love Island. I am obviously caught up on the Bachelorette. A lot of things are happening in the Batch world right now. So we'll start off with, we are getting the Golden Bachelor this fall. I saw last night it's at 10 p.m. That will be something I will not be watching at 10 p.m. because I will need to be sleeping. But his name is Gary. One of the, I think it's Gary. I think it's spelled like Jerry, pronounced Gary. He is from Indiana. He's giving me Parks and Rec vibes, if you know what I'm talking about. He is 71 or 72. I've seen both. He has a lot of hair for being in his 70s. But he also, he looks pretty good. He definitely looks pretty good. I'm sure he's probably had some Botox, but hey, we don't judge about Botox here. And I'm just very excited because I feel like having people who are older, they just don't give an F sometimes. And I am just really intrigued to see how all of that plays out on the Golden Bachelor. Love Island, we have a lot. So where I'm at, they left us on a cliffhanger, and we have Sammy and Jess, Katie and Uzi, and Leah, and I don't remember what his name, Montel. They basically are like the least compatible or whatever in the villa, and one of them is going to get dumped. We already just randomly dumped Catherine and Elam, which this is with this season, it's so interesting to me that they are just usually they'll be like, all Islanders gather around the fire pit, the public's been voting, you're dumped, whatever. But this time they're literally all just hanging out, and they I think they texted Whitney or Ella, texted one of them who are very close to Catherine, basically said the public has been voting, whoever has the least amount of votes will be being dumped from the island tonight. And then literally the next text is, Catherine and Elam, you guys are dumped. Peace out. Get out of here. And then I'm pretty sure Leah and Montel get dumped. It's just a weird thing where we're just getting rid of people. We're not making the Islanders vote. We're just getting rid of them. Also, who's the public? I just want to know, does the UK public actually vote on this? I'm just curious. So we'll see what happens there. I know we have Snog, Marry, Pie come up, which is one of my favorite things. I saw on Twitter that Zach snogs Katie, and then Katie snogs Zach, and Molly is pissed. Also, I got explicit E on Spotify because I cursed, which is probably just going to happen. So sorry, mom and dad. Okay, Bachelorette time. Guys, I have 4 pages. Actually, I made my margins wide, so I only have 3.5. But there's a lot to cover here. So we start off, we're in Washington State. Beautiful. Washington State is so pretty. It's definitely going to be on my list of places I want to travel to. I don't remember exactly what part of Washington they're in, but there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings. Something that you guys should know about me is my family enjoys a good Bigfoot moment. My Uncle Rich is obsessed with Bigfoot. My little brother Walker was obsessed with Harry and the Hendersons. So anytime there's a Bigfoot, I'm there. We start off, Dotun gets a one-on-one. We will get to this because there's a lot to say about this. So Dotun gets the one-on-one, there's chatter going on. They go into this Jeep, and Charity is driving again. Personally, I don't drive. Oh, here comes Soda, maybe. Do you want to go? Do you want to go? No? Okay, we're back. So Charity is driving again. I personally, I don't drive. If I'm in the car with really anybody, I don't really drive. I'm a passenger princess. I will control the music. I will do the GPS. I will tell you where to go. I'm not a great driver. I drive really slow and very cautiously. Unlike the rest of my coworkers and my fiance, and basically the rest of my family. So I don't drive. Charity's in red this time. And pink is obviously, I said last week, pink is Charity's color. So is red. She looks bomb as hell here. So now we're gonna get into basically the theme of this show is we're building connections, but we're also still tired of Brayden. Basically, Brayden is mad that the other guys have connections with her when they like haven't even talked. He's like, they probably don't even know her favorite color. I have the strongest connection with her. And then, he also then flips like a steak and is like, I have the strongest connection with her, but I also don't know if I actually like her that much or if I want to keep going through this process. Ridiculous. Also, I've been out on Brayden from like basically beginning of episode 2, but this is where I really freaking draw the line is Brayden said that Sean, we got some Shrek disrespect, and also something you guys should know about me is I love Shrek. Like, hands on, one of my favorite movies. I love Shrek. Like, I don't accept Shrek slander. And Brayden said that Sean looks like the prince, like the dad prince or whatever from Shrek. And he like used it as like an insult and like not an insult. Don't freaking go there. Brayden says he has the strongest connection with Charity and then justifies it with she didn't take the rose off my chest last week, which like I understand like that why he said that, but I also don't understand like why he's thinking that's a good thing. Like the fact that she was even thinking about taking away your rose is probably a sign, but that's just me. So then we get through all the chatter of that and then we get to the one-on-one. On the one-on-one, they're doing something Charity's like, I've never done this before and it's gonna bond them. They're going bungee jumping off of a bridge over a body of water. Literally, I would shit my pants. No, thank you. That's not happening. I don't really know how to swim. And like, I'm not afraid of heights really, but what I would be afraid of falling is like, I would be afraid of falling on my head. Thank you, Soda. They're both freaking out a little and they jump. I literally want to throw it for them. And then they do it again. They also say run it back, which I feel like, Chief's Kingdom is everywhere, people. Dotun said she pushed through and he really loves that about her. Charity said the whole time, like she felt really safe with Dotun. As we're watching this, Dotun has to be at least final 2. I think Dotun wins, but we'll get into that later where we have some drama with the final episodes. We'll get into that in a minute. But I just feel like they're vibing and like Charity doesn't have concerns about Dotun. Dotun doesn't have concerns about Charity. Like it's like the one date where you're like they're vibing a lot. Joey says he's happy for Dotun, but it's also scary to see other people building strong connections. But Aaron B is like, you can't spiral. That's what Brayden is basically doing this whole time. And then we like cut to Brayden spiraling. He's like out in the woods, basically saying like he just wants her to stop being the bachelorette for one moment and just like be off with him. But also like she is the bachelorette. Like she can't like whenever she's going to like be off. Also, it's not like she's like on. Like she's not like doing Broadway, like she's not on, but she is the bachelorette, so like she does have a part to play in this. And I also feel like if you don't like her as much as the part of her being the bachelorette, like you might not like her in the real world, but that's just me. So Brain is spiraling. Basically, Aaron B is saying that like he is glad that Brayden is spiraling because he feels like that by Brain spiraling, Charity might see that he's not here for the right reasons. And so he's like, honestly, if he spirals, like, that's fine. Like, we don't really need him here anyways. Tanner, who we haven't really seen a lot of, he kind of looks like Blake H from Paradise and from whatever season that was. I don't really know. He actually kind of looks like if Blake and Connor S had a baby. I mean, that's just my prediction there. So we're back at the house. Xavier gets a one-on-one, and now we're going on a group date. And guys, this group date is a doozy. Aaron B is basically ready to fight Brayden if he has to. Okay. Aaron B is ready to fight Brayden. This episode, they were really just be bopping around. We're bouncing around. So Xavier gets the next one-on-one. We're going on a group date, and then we go back to Dotun's one-on-one. Dotun's never had a proper s'more, which is like a red flag to me. Also life hack. Life hack, I have started putting like a whole Hershey's bar on a graham cracker and then heating it up in the microwave for 10 seconds. And like the graham cracker and chocolate, in my opinion, is the best part of a s'more. So I've just been doing that and it's delicious. Oh, here he comes. So then we get to like the night part of Dotun's date, and Dotun immigrated here whenever he was 4. Basically, his aunt called, like it was literally all from a phone call. His parents really struggled and pushed him to be his best. Like you can just tell that he's just like a very genuine guy. They are really vibing. So they are really, really vibing. Basically, Charity says, I feel like Dotun could be my person. And I agree. I definitely think they are each other's person. Like, there's just something about them where you can see it. And like, you're like, this, like, they actually like each other. So then also, like, at the end of the day, we get like a little outro or whatever. And Dotun basically is saying that he's really grateful for the choices that they both made that like brought them together. How freaking cute, guys. Like, just I feel like this is where I want Charity to realize like she doesn't have to keep people there that don't like her because she has so many people that do like her, which we'll get to a little bit more at the end. So now we are going on a woodsy date, and Brain's basically like, I'm made for the woods. I love the woods. And okay, dude, really with those earrings, have you like do you even know how to build a fire? I don't know how to build a fire, but I'm also not pretending to be like I'm outdoorsy. So Brayden's basically here acting like he's Mountain Man. He's literally wearing Forever 21 scarves and his feather earrings. So you be the judge of that. He also is like, I'm not wearing a coat because why do I need a coat? Like, it's like 20 degrees outside. Like, you need a coat because you're going to get hypothermia. Brayden is like reminding me of those like little kids that, or I mean, adults maybe too, that refuse to wear pants during the winter because they're like, well, why do I need to wear pants? And it's like, because, like, do you want to freeze to death? Like, not really the way I want to go out, but live your truth. So then we get to the day and we bring out the Girl Scouts. These Girl Scouts, they're ready to give it to these boys. So basically they're giving out challenges for the boys to complete to basically win over Charity, and it's like gathering food, like and then asking them some questions. Brayden also brings like a walking stick, which I mean, how like where did you get that? Like what like I have so many questions about the walking stick. Um Brayden also says like several times during this that him not wearing enough layers is him asserting his dominance. Like, okay, like like getting hypothermia is not like asserting your dominance here, but whatever. He's literally saying like, I'll take off all my clothes and like I'll be fine. It's like, are you though? Like, I'm pretty sure he's also from like Florida, so it's not like he's from like Canada where it's cold all the time, or like one of the Dakotas. Like, you're literally from like a warm climate. So like, enough with that. Um so we go through everything. The guys are doing what they want to do. Like, we're foraging the berries and the nuts and the mushrooms and all that jazz. We're asking the questions. And the last question is, where do you want to be at the end of this journey? And everybody's like engaged, down on one knee, like building a family, like we're getting married. This is a layup question. This is such an easy question. And Brayden says to be content. Which, like, I get it, but also, like, that was your layup and you still effed it up. So then so then Aaron B wins the like little group date challenge or whatever. They go off, and then basically we see Brain saying, I think Charity's an amazing woman, but maybe she's not for me. Somebody like needs to show her this outro. Like, I want somebody to tell her this. Which I mean, I'm still convinced that he is a producer pick, but I also don't want like another Luke P situation from Hannah Brown season. So then we get to the date night part, or the night part of the group date, and Charity's wearing like a little sparkly long coat with a like kind of satiny red matching jumpsuit, and it's a look, it's a vibe. I mean, I love it. Aaron B calls Brayden out for being so pessimistic, and everybody's like, we love Charity, like we don't really understand why, like if you're having doubts, like get out. Because Brayden is still having doubts at this point. Sean says, you got the first impression, Rose, and you've had a one-on-one, like you've literally had the most time with her, but like you're still having doubts. Then Charity walks in on this conversation, and they're having the conversation, and they're all like, I don't know how much she actually overheard, but basically she heard this interesting conversation, and she walks in and she's like, WTF, like what is happening? And basically Sean says, like, he's having doubts, like get him out of here. So my hypothesis at this point is that as I'm watching this, I'm like, I feel like Brain is going to go in there and he's either going to talk his way into staying, or Charity's going to be like, we're donezo, you're on the donezo list, like you're out. So basically they go back and they talk. Brain has they have this conversation, and she's mad because he didn't tell her that he packed his bags twice. He only said he packed his bags once, which like, and normal people, it's kind of like, okay, but also like here, it's like, okay, so like we've been here for 3 weeks and you've packed your bags twice. Like that's not great. And then he says he likes her, but he doesn't feel like he wants to be here right now. So she's basically like, okay, I'll walk you out. She puts him in the Suburban, and he says in his like little outro that he doesn't think the door is fully shut, which is kind of foreshadowing. He's coming back. Like it's the whole thing. But basically, then we get this, like, we kind of get into Charity a little bit more, where she's like, Brayden is like, basically, she felt like she wanted to keep Brayden because she felt like she had a good connection with him. But now, after sending him home, she like has this clarity of like, there are so many other really great guys here that like, I don't need to keep Brayden here just for shits and giggles, basically. Good for her. Brain is toxic, guys. So good for you, Charity. We're all really, really proud of you. Long time coming there. Basically we come back. All the guys are really relieved that Brayden is gone. All of their conversations after Brayden is gone, it's just like, it's very good. It's very lighthearted. I feel like this season of guys is like very close. Like we haven't had like several villains. Like we've only had one. And I feel like that just like goes to show that the guys really do like just like vibe really well with each other. So then one little thought that I had is like, Joey and Charity have a really good connection, and it's kind of random, but also like I get it a little bit. Like they do have a good connection, but it's also just like, it's just kind of random. I feel like the only thing I know about Joey is obviously about like his like family situation, but also that he plays tennis. Like I don't really know anything else about him. I think that's what kind of feels like random to me, is like they just seem like an interesting pair. Um so then we go to the one-on-one with Xavier. They go to a fruit festival. They really love the lavender. They tried this like fruit jelly or spicy jelly, and it was really, really spicy for them. It was kind of hilarious. They squish some things in some buckets with their feet, and that just like reminds me of all the Love Island dates whenever we get like to like kind of the end of the seasons, and like they send people out to squish grapes and then drink wine and have cheese. So basically Charity she's a little bit on the fence with Xavier, which I didn't like. I understand what she was saying, but I also just like wasn't really expecting this. Basically she says that he reminds her a lot of her ex, and she just wants to make sure that he's going to be able to like level up and be like husband material, and she wants to make sure they're not just attracted to each other on like surface level things. um Xavier's also wearing a sweater. Do we think he knitted it? I don't know. I hope he did. It was a good sweater. Basically, so then we go through the whole thing, and then we get to the night part, and Charity's basically saying like, I'm gonna need some clarity here. So she talks to Xavier about like his fears and, the usual stuff. And basically Xavier says he's afraid that in a relationship he will give 100% and the other person won't give him 100%. But also like he's basically just like concerned about like not being enough. And that is also one of Charity's concerns. We also find out that Charity's last long-term relationship ended because of infidelity. So she also opens up about that. It also, she said, like, happened more than once. So I think that's where she is like very guarded, but I think that's why she's also like, people are giving her like flashbacks to her ex and she's like, I can't do this. Like, she has to cut it off right then and there. Um, we also learned that Xavier's mom has MS and that's why he decided to go into science, which like that is just so wholesome. That's like so precious. Like, I mean, he basically was like, I just want to research because his dad is also his mom's full time caregiver. So he was like, I just want to research to like try to help other people. And like, that's just wonderful. He gets the rose. We're more confident with Xavier. Great. Like, I mean, at this point, like, we just love Xavier. I mean, I also would love to see Xavier be the next Bachelor or, just find a really lovely person if it's not Charity. So we're done with Xavier. We're going into the cocktail party. Everybody's feeling really good. The guys are like walking on the treadmill before. We're like trimming John's nose hairs. Like we're all just like bonding and we're living life. Charity comes in and this hot as hell red dress. She looks so good. Red is also Charity's color. Like, I mean, put her in all the colors and I'll decide which ones I like best. But I mean, I just don't know of a color that's not going to look good on her. The red, it's really, really great. I also have kind of noticed a theme that we're kind of like color blocking these episodes. I would have to go back and look at the other ones, but I feel like we're keeping her in the same colors, but it's like a consistent theme. So like we have the red pantsuit and then we have like the jackets and then we have the like the dresses. Like it's very good. I really love this season. Um so we go into the group cocktail party, and Erin's giving her a back massage, giving very much this season of Casa Amor vibes. Charity gives Dotun a picture of herself as a child. I don't really know why, but that was just kind of cute. She basically says she has no doubts about anyone here, that like they're all there for her, that she like likes them. She takes Tanner to the woods and they have a little proper snog, which is interesting because I feel like we haven't really seen a lot of Tanner, and then she takes it. I'm just wondering, like, do they have a good connection? Like, what's the vibe there? Um, then we get into the really good stuff. The wolves howl, and we see Bigfoot himself, Brayden. Not only does Brayden come walking up to this date in his scarf, his feather earrings, but he also comes in with flip flops. It is like 20 degrees in Washington State, and you are like, your tootsies are out in the woods. You're gonna get poked by a poisonous berry thorn, but also, you should not be wearing flip flops with like your jeans. Jail time. Jail time, Brayden. Yes, also I did watch Fashion Police growing up, so that might explain a lot of this. So, okay, so Brayden, he's zooming on in. He just like, beelines right on past the guys, doesn't say anything. Literally is opening up all these random doors. This is where they did Charity dirty. They did a real dirty. So he's, that's not the right door. That's not the right door. Okay, then he walks into the room and Charity is making out with John, like tongue in mouth, slurp, making out with John. And Brayden's just like standing there, like literally, like, I don't know how long, because things can be edited. He's just standing there for probably a good like 15, 20 seconds. He's just standing there. And then Charity starts talking about how like her lipstick is coming off and like this is the problem with wearing red lipstick, da da da. And then John looks up and is like, holy shit. It's like he just saw a ghost. And I mean, he basically did. And then Charity turns around and she like audibly gasps. So Charity literally gasp. Then she has a conversation with Brayden where, like, he doesn't really try to, like, come back, but he also just, like, wants to apologize, but also therefore just, like, taking time away from the other guys, which is just annoying to them. So then John comes back and he's like, OMFG, Brain just busted in. He walked in on me and Charity. I'm peeved off because he's taking away my time again. Like, I don't have a rose. Like, I'm on the chopping block. Like, da da da. And then basically, Charity and Braden talk. She basically says, like, you don't respect my time. You don't really respect me. Like, you gotta go. So probably the best. Okay, this is actually probably one of my best one of my most favorite moments from like this whole franchise is that Sean is like talking shit about Brain wearing a scarf, and the producer is like, well, you're also wearing a scarf, and Sean goes, yeah, but this is cashmere. He's not wrong though. Here's the difference. Braden's scarf is like a circa 2010 scarf that you get from like Forever 21, and Sean's scarf looks like it's like a nice cashmere weather appropriate scarf for Washington State. So I agree, Sean. It is cashmere and you're allowed to wear that. So Charity says, peace out, Braden. You got to leave. Like, bye. Don't want to see you again. The guys follow Braden now and they are ready to fight. Like, not okay. Some of them were ready to fist fight. Most of them were just like, this is disrespectful. Like, why would you do this? You keep doing this. You're taking away our time. Da da da. You know, Aaron B and Braden almost do a little tussly moment. John is like, you need to apologize, like you took away my time. Sean scream. I mean, everybody is just like up in arms. Um, it was good drama. We loved that. So then, of course, we cancel the cocktail party because why the heck would we not do that? So we go straight into the rose ceremony. 3 guys have roses from one-on-ones and group dates, and then we have 3 roses that we're giving out. So, guys, like we're only down to 6 people at this point. So we go through John. So the last rose was given out to Sean, which I think is interesting that we kept Sean but did not keep John. So interested to see what's happening there. Caleb B is like crying, which is, you know, our cowboy friend. One thing like takeaway from this last piece is that this group of guys like really bonded. Like they're hugging each other. All of their outros are like, even though Charity didn't pick me, like all the guys that are left are really wonderful. Like no matter who she picks, like she's definitely in the right hands. They just are like really vibing with each other, which I think is great. Like I feel like at this point in time, like yes, there's probably going to be some like riffs or whatever, but they just seem like they all really do enjoy like they just enjoyed like building that friendship, which I think is great. So then, you know, everybody goes home, sad times, everybody's crying. Then we get a little preview of what's to come. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a good one. So basically we have the last 6 guys, we're like going on dates, we're like getting time, all of that. Basically, I don't know what happens, and you know, ABC will kind of get me sometimes with these, but basically somebody is like not leaving even though Charity is trying to send them home. I don't know who it is. I want to know who it is. If it's somebody that's left, it's giving Aaron B vibes a little bit, but I'm also like, are we going to have a Luke P situation where Braden comes back? I don't know. We're going to see. This season does feel like it's going by really quickly. I mean, we're like 4 weeks in, so I guess that's not like that's how long it usually is. Because then we're going to move on to Paradise, and then obviously we're also getting the Golden Bachelor. Now seeing the whole like how everything happened with John, I almost feel like John maybe is going to Paradise and has a big story there. So I wonder if our Bachelor is going to be somebody who's from our Final Four. So we'll see. I could see it being Joey also. But I could also see it being Xavier. I mean, they could also just like pick somebody else. We'll see. So I really want to know what happens. I want to know who doesn't leave. But okay, so now we're gonna hear it from our sponsor. guess who it is? It's Chief of Staff. So as you guys know, Chief of Staff is a local recruiting firm here in Kansas City. So we specialize in placing administrative, accounting, finance, HR, sales, operations positions. We really focus on making connections that matter. So if you are looking for your next opportunity or you're looking for your next hire, please reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly. My email is bbeets@cos-kc.com. And remember, we are never too busy for your referrals. Okay, guys, I'm putting this away because we have two funny stories today, actually. So I came up with this idea where I also want to also just talk about funny stories that are happening around our office, just because that's also the reality of recruiting. So Kendall's gonna do me a little SpongeBob moment, little shoop, because we have some funny ones today. So this is going to be our first installment of Chief of Staff Pants Ripping Edition. And yes, people, it's plural because we have two of these, because this is a common theme here at Chief of Staff that people's pants rip. I'm also keeping in everybody's names because it's freaking hilarious. So, just here we go. So I'm going to set the stage for you. So my BFF, Lucas Allen Berry, he's a new hire. He's been here for 2 weeks, and he's being really, really helpful. And we're moving around some filing cabinets, whatever. And in our old office, it was smaller. So basically, if nobody was talking, you could hear a pen drop. It was really quiet, which doesn't really happen all that often in our office. But, at the time, if people were just getting ready, haven't had their coffee, it's really quiet. So Lucas is oh, I'll help move that. Quiet in the office. And all of a sudden, our dear friend Lucas, we just hear a rip. And Lucas's pants ripped. And everybody heard it. And it was literally, it was so funny, because then he walks over and Tiffany says, "Oh my God, did your pants just rip?" And he says, "I think so." You think so? We all heard it. It's not an I think so moment. Your pants just ripped. So then Lucas, God love him, was "Oh my gosh, where do I go?" And I was well, just run to Target. I was just run to Target and go grab some new pants. This was also before Target pickup got really popular. And Lucas looks at me and I'm just go to Target, just pick up some new pants. They'll be $20-$30. You'll be totally good. We don't need to go to Lululemon. We weren't that bougie yet. And Lucas looks at me dead in the eyes and goes, "Target has pants?" Yes, they do. So then what was really great is that, so Lucas, he goes and he gets his new pants. He has to go to Target. His pants are ripped. It's really quite hilarious. So he goes to Target, comes back, all is well. It's still one of my most favorite. Okay, I have a lot of favorite Lucas stories, so we'll share more of those later. But then my favorite part was after Lucas bought these pants, anytime he wore them to the office just for a normal work day, he had to tell me. He had to be "These are my Target pants. Remember you told me to buy these." So Lucas, thank you. It really broke the ice for us. So glad we're besties now. So here's my second one. Also, is this normal for people's pants to rip this much at work? I don't know. I'm just wondering, because we've had two. We might have had, no, we've only had two. So the second one is from my bestie Kendall. So here's what nobody tells you about when people's pants rip, but they don't know, is then you have to tell them "I wasn't looking at your butt, but I just noticed it," and you have to tell them because you're a good friend. So Kendall one day, I don't even remember. I think it was a Friday because she was wearing jeans, and I remember she was walking in front of me, and I was huh, something looks kind of different, Kendall. Your jeans look a little different. I had no idea. So then I'm minding my own business, whatever. Tiffany again, God, what would we do without her? Tiffany again. So Kendall is grabbing something out of her bag, and Tiff walks over to me and is "Oh my God, I can see Kendall's butt." She's "Oh my God, I can see Kendall's butt." And I was "What? What do you mean you can see Kendall's butt?" And she's "I think Kendall ripped her pants." So then Tiff has to go up to Kendall and says, Kendall, I think you ripped your pants. And Kendall turns around and looks, and she's like, oh my God, you can see my whole butt. So then Kendall runs to the bathroom and again is like, what do I do? And I, of course, am like, go to Target and get new pants because that's my solution for every time this happens, I guess. So then Kendall has to go to Target. She has to like take a jacket and like wrap it around her waist. And she has to go get new pants. And then she comes back to the office and Kendall's like, thank you guys so much for telling me. And I'm like, nobody tells you how awkward it is. Because like you want to be a good friend, but you also don't want to be like, I can see your whole butt. But that's what we do here. That's the importance of good company culture where you can tell your coworkers that you can see their butt because their pants ripped. But I mean, I would rather tell them than not tell them because that's so embarrassing. You don't want a stranger to have to tell you that. I'd rather it be one of your work pals. So if you or someone has ripped their pants at work, just go to Target and get new pants. It'll just save it. And also, now it's really funny. I mean, we can laugh about it now. We're going to laugh about this for forever. This might be a long one. Sorry in advance. But that's all I have for now. Again, if you have any pants ripping stories, anything else that's really funny, obviously send it our way. We're going to be back next week with more Love Island, more Bachelorette. Kardashians was kind of, I mean, it was fine last week, but we'll keep going over that. Wow, I'm really out of breath. This really takes it out of me. I mean, you guys know I can talk and I have a lot of opinions, but talking all on my own for like 30 minutes is really, it's taking it out of me. My coworkers probably enjoy because I don't talk as much during the day on Tuesdays. So that's all we're going to have for today. Send me your stories and I'll see you next week. Bye.